Alright, welcome back, ladies and gents. Today I'm going to be talking about what it's like if you're a short man in today's world, whether that's dating, life, social life, work, all that kind of stuff. So this vid's going to be for all the short kings out there, and it's titled Short and Male. As you can see, it was made in 2007. I have watched this in its entirety, maybe even about a year ago or something. I was just going through my watch later list and I thought I'll make a little bit about this. It is a long video, so this one will be in several parts, or probably at least three to four parts. But it gives you a little bit of an insight. Like, this was before the BP, and like the RP hadn't really taken off too. This was made before then, and even before then, these like short guys just knew that societally, holistically, when it comes to ladies, when it comes to work, stuff like that, they were getting the short end of the stick. So I'll play this and then I'll pause and interject when I see fit. Come on, play. Come on. Oh my God, Father. Do I really have to do another intro? Like fuck I will, I'm going to refresh this page. You're going to bloody play, mate. Not from there, from the start. Oh my God. I love doing stuff on YouTube. It's really fun. Come on. Why isn't it playing? Fucking joke. Hurry up and play. Oh my God. Internet's good. Connection's good. I've got no idea what's going on here. 2 minutes 50 in, and it still hasn't played. What the fuck is going on here, YouTube? Hurry up. Yeah, we'll start it here. Come on, 33 seconds in. Come on. My God, Father. I am infuriated right now. Come on. Unfucking believable. Unfucking believable. Alright, let's start again. Let's go to watch later. Here it is, short and male.
I discovered a great group of guys who may have stopped growing physically.
Now let's, from the start, here we go. Now it's working. Sorry for all my cussing, but I get frustrated when technology doesn't work and I don't do anything different. It frustrates me. Alright, here we go. I'm not going to edit that out. You get the full raw, uncut experience with me.
A short guy who's sensitive is in deep shit. The average person doesn't understand the transformation that a short guy has to go through in order to live his life in a proper, fulfilling way.
Most short-statured people are just resigned to their fate of second or third-class citizenship.
Well, this guy here worked it out. He's an older guy too, and he worked it out long before the RP and BP came along. Especially if you're short and sub 5, good luck to you. And this is before we knew the real importance of looks. Look, we always knew. I mean, come on, let's call a spade a spade. We always knew that looks mattered, but this is before we actually knew how much they mattered. So I'll keep it playing.
You may be ignored, you may be dismissed, you may get less respect if you get any respect at all.
True.
You may get less courtesy if you get any courtesy at all.
You had to choose a date from these 5 men. Who would you go for?
On first instinct, probably number 1.
Number 1? Number 1. Number 1.
1. Number 1.
It turns out that how important height is to a woman changes as a function of where she is in her menstrual cycle. So, depending on whether I am at the maximal point of my fertility.
Jeez, I was wondering who that was. That's old Gard Sard, before he got the beard. What he's saying there is some truth to it, but the caveat here is, yes, what he said was true. What women are attracted to changes depending on their menstrual cycle, but it only changes for the fact that they want either a pretty boy Chad when they're not, like when they're menstruating or whatever, and when they're ovulating they want the masculine Chad. They still want Chad, they just want different versions of Chad.
Or not, I will be more or less attracted to tall men precisely because it is a cue of being a good genetic specimen.
Why do women need a guy who's taller than they are?
So that they can protect you.
I think it's more of like a security thing.
I prefer taller men.
Well, this has been debunked many times. I'm working as a bouncer for 20 odd years. I've seen that many shorter guys that can fight like fuck and knock down bigger guys. So I don't know if women truly believe that taller guys are just all round better fighters or not, or whether it's just they just want to appear to be nice and say that. But yeah, like I've seen shorter guys, 5'6", 5'8", that are, gym maxed and martial art maxed and all that stuff, boxers and stuff, that can just annihilate pretty much anyone. Fair enough, a bloke my build, if you get a 6'1", 120 kilo heavyweight that's trained, yeah, he's going to pummel a smaller bloke. But when it comes to just general population, if there's a shorter guy in his gym max and he's done a bit of training, he's going to be able to take out 90% of people.
Somebody that can kind of defend you.
I am man.
If you want to take care of a woman today, I think this will go a lot further than having big muscles.
I'm Tom Rubin, and I'm short, horny, and pissed. There must be some women who prefer short men. I mean, at the very least, it could be a fetish. There's a fetish for everything, right?
Actually is, but don't get too excited because it's probably 0.00001 of the female population that do want a shorter guy. That's what the channel Chadlip Maxing is trying to do right now. He's trying to find a tall woman that wants a shorter guy to boss around, and that's kind of his angle. He likes an Amazon goddessing. Haven't seen too many really tall women in person in my life, but generally they still want a taller guy. Like I've seen girls that are like 6'3", 6'4", with guys that are about the same height as them. So yes, like being a short guy is a fetish for a woman, but so is being a bald guy, so is being a fat guy, so is being a hairy guy, etc. There's just fuck all women that are into it, and the ones that are into it have generally found someone. So don't bank on that fact that you're a niche in order to find someone.
Feet, rubber, shit. There's a fetish for shit, but not for short men. There's a midget fetish. I'm too tall for that.
Actually quite funny, that bloke.
I live in Beverly Hills. I'm an entertainment lawyer. I am what some people would describe as a good catch, but yet it's very difficult to get.
So the bloke's fucking loaded. But when was this made? 2007, 2008. He's still, that was about, we'd already passed the girl boss era. The girl boss era actually started, from what I can see, way back in the 90s. So the girl bosses are already out there. There was around about the time where I was involved with, around universities and things. It was around about 2001, 2003, so it was already women outpacing men flat out there getting all their degrees. They're all earning money. Yes, this guy can be used for his money, but I don't think he's going to want that kind of... He seems pretty switched on, this guy. I don't think he'll want that kind of dynamic. He's going to be looking for more so the traditional wife and kids, etc. But money just isn't what most women have high on their priority list at the moment. I'm sorry, but it's not. Yes, there are gold diggers out there, 100% they are, but most women are still prioritising looks over everything else a man can offer.
Convince women of that fact.
A lot of sperm banks around this country, as far as I know, have a height requirement of 5'11" and above.
You hear that? Now that's a BP. That's a brutal BP.
Is that true? 99% of sperm banks won't accept... Well, that's, I mean...
Women don't want short kids, basically.
I mean, I don't know who's running these sperm banks.
If there's no heightism, if we're all treated equally like we're supposed to be...
Who is running the sperm bank?
But we ain't. Life ain't fair, mate. We aren't all treated equally. Now, that's a fact. That's a big BP fact.
Women want tall kids because they know that shorter kids are going to struggle.
I've been short ever since I can remember. And I can tell you one thing. If you're a short guy, the worst thing you can do is waste time thinking about it. But sometimes you just can't help yourself. Us short guys have a story to tell.
What happened with that guy, Howard?
He says he wants us to be in a movie about short people.
Come on, really? That's hilarious. When he first told me, I was really, I was insulted, man. I couldn't believe it. But then, a few minutes later, it hit me. I said, I'm happy about it. I want to tell this story.
Let's do it.
I think I have a message.
Think there's ever going to be a short president?
No, I doubt it. Maybe a B'nai B'rith, that's about it, man. But it ain't going to happen.
Most short guys simply don't want to talk about what it's like being short. They think that to admit there's a problem is to admit a weakness. We're painfully aware that when we try to voice our feelings about being short, we're often told to move on or to get a life. In the interest of creating awareness, I set out to bond with my fellow shrimps. I discovered a great group of guys who may have stopped growing physically, but will never stop growing inside, where it counts most. We begin with Stuart and Stephen Seltzer, short twin dentists, sharing a very successful practice in Montreal.
Being short in and of itself could be a tricky thing, but when you're a twin and you're short, it makes it worse. You see your short twin all the time, and you see your short twin the same way that the world perceives your short twin. So it's as if you're looking in a mirror constantly. It makes the painful experience of being short even more painful. My first mortifying experience with being short was at Camp Hiawatha. We were about 8 or 9, and lo and behold, they decided that they would cast Stuart as the guy who gets sand kicked in his face by Charles Atlas, the big guy with the big, huge muscles, and Stuart was wearing a bathing suit, and he was completely exposed. I had to watch this on stage. He was on stage in front of about 400 or 500 people. Sure enough, this beautiful girl, dressed up nicely, came and started kicking sand in his face because he was a 90-pound weakling. For me, it was a mortifying experience. It was pure torture because here I was seeing people humiliating my beautiful, cute twin brother, and I didn't like it one bit. It's infinitely worse than being humiliated yourself. We had to learn how to be better at sports, how to be better coordinated in order to get a certain social acceptance that kids, unfortunately, demand. And the world at large later demands it from you as well.
Yeah, I've got no doubt everything they're saying there is completely true. You have to try harder at everything you do. You're the laughing stock in most cases, the butt of jokes. You get overlooked. what do you do? You know, that you've just got to kind of accept that fact. Like, and don't think about doing anything silly like any of that leg lengthening shit either. Yeah, it's a brutal BP, and like these guys order 5'4". To the average lady these days, anything under 6 foot, like if you're 5'10", you are like bang on probably the minimum that they take. And even then, if you're 5'10", I'd just say bullshit and say you're 6 foot. You can't be 5'6" and bullshit, say you're 6 foot. But if you're 5'10" or 5'11", just do it, because they've got a weird fetish fixation around that number 6 foot. So if you're close to it, why not add an inch or two, get some shoe lifts? But for the real, like, true short cell people, men out there, my heart does go out to you, because not only is dating harder, but life in general is.
They do this to short people, they do this to fat people, they do this to ugly people. It's just something, it's part of the harsh realities of our world.
Until I was 3, I didn't know anybody smaller than me. But there was a good reason for that. My sister's friends were all older, taller, and wiser. Nobody expected me to equal up in any way. Then I started going to school, and everything changed. The kids were all my own age now, but they were still taller. I learned that shrimp isn't just something that you eat.
Bug.
Got to correct them. They're called prawns, mate. They're not called shrimp. They're called prawns.
Insect. Midget.
In our language, in our everyday slang, we in some ways code what it means to be tall.
Powerful.
What it means to be shrimpy.
Midget, pea-fart, munchkin.
Stump. Probably calculated to offend me, I'm guessing.
People talk about looking up to people.
Runt.
Shorty.
Shrimp.
Munchkin.
Height seems to be such a powerful attribute.
What floor? Top floor, please.
Years ago, women took to the streets in New York City. They demanded equal pay and the right to vote. 50 years ago, a black student sat at a white-only restaurant counter and asked to be served. 40 years ago, the world celebrated the first gay pride parade. But today, there remains one group that has made no progress in the face of rampant discrimination. They make up 5% of the planet's population, spread out throughout every nation. There may even be some living in your neighborhood. I'm one of them.
Just watch your step.
I'm short. I'm male. But I'm a person, too.
I 100% agree. Short, male, and you're a person. But women don't. According to them, you're an object. In one of the recent studies that I looked up, anecdotal studies, sub-5, short, bald, fat, whatever men are basically seen as nothing more than just a piece of litter on the ground. So, unfortunately, my friend from the opposite sex, you are a human doing, not a human being.
You're like me. Join NOSA today and speak out. NOSA, the National Organization of Short-Statured Adults.
First, we have to...
And by the way, that's a real organisation. They're not just putting on a little skit there.
Figure out why do we only have 27 members? What is it?
With short stature, there's not much pride associated with that. Some people view it like, who would want to join an organization like the National Organization of Ugly People? And I know that sounds awful, But some people, that's how they view short
Yeah.
stature.
Right. We've got this guy here. He's 5'6". My best mate is 5'6". Luckily for him, when he's lean, he's actually starting a bit of a diet to get leaner now. Luckily, when he's lean, he's got like he's got a good solid 6.5 out of 10 face. Like he's got jawline, everything. He comes from he's got like a Eastern European heritage. He's got the light brown hair, full head of hair to it. Like he's got to be about 48 or something. Full head of hair, blue eyes, hunter eyes, chiseled jaw, shit like that. He's given up on Shields. Couldn't really give a shit about him at the moment, but when he could, he could actually get some reasonable looking women. None that were ever his looks match. He'd have to go 1 or 2 points below, but he was lucky that he had the face. So if you're 5'6" and you've got face, you're going to have no worries. Face trumps all. But even this guy here isn't that short, but I know to a lot of women he's just going to be just automatic no. And also, I understand that there would be some guys, especially in America, with their like jock and nerd culture. He's probably going to get teased a bit. Here in Australia, you don't really get. Well, when I was at school anyway, short people never really got teased and picked on. Yeah, they probably got a nickname thrown at them here or there, but they never really got bullied and picked on just because they were short. Not that I could see anyway. If you got a different story, please tell it. But in the comments. But yeah, this guy isn't even that short.
I spent the majority of my life being ashamed because I was short. And I don't want my kids to feel that way. In fact, I don't want anybody to feel that way. I came across this website. It was called Short Support. And I couldn't believe that there were other people out there that were going through the exact same thing that I was going through. So I said, I got to do something about this. Sir, would you like to talk with us? No? Okay. Would you like a flyer, sir? Okay.
Anyone want a flyer? Anyone? Flyer, anybody? It's free. Flyer.
NOSA plans on being everywhere.
Come over here. You are joking me. No, we're not.
This is an international organization. We plan on spreading our hands everywhere across the world.
I was a great cop. I performed very well on the job. But for some reason, my supervisors didn't give me the credit that I deserved. Everybody treated me like I didn't belong there. I'm too short.
Poor bloke. That's another symptom of being a short cell. In positions like that, especially law enforcement or in the Marines or Navy or Army, size and strength does kind of matter. I can see like where this guy's supervisors and that were coming from. Like these days, anyone, as long as you're not screwed in the head or anything, hopefully, you can become a policeman. Back in the day, it used to be called a police force. Had to be over 90 kilos and 6 foot or over to join the police. I think my great granddad, I believe, was on mum's side was a cop, a police in Glasgow, back in Scotland. And back then, you had a lot of respect because people knew how hard it was to get into the police force. It wasn't just, some job, and you actually got paid quite well, and you were very, very, very highly respected amongst everyone you knew and, society in general.
Who was I to enter this man's field? They did a study Police supervisors actually believe that shorter police officers are more likely to get citizen complaints because they're more aggressive. My supervisor, he was saying, yeah, a lot of short cops, you know, they become cops because they want to know what it feels like to be the boss, to have some authority, and they finally get some respect because they have a badge. Well, this is the same guy that was, you know, it's basically signing my checks.
National Organization Short Statured Adults. Are you shitting me? Oh, hold on a second. So how you guys doing?
I started to realize that, you know, this really wasn't the right job for me.
My name is Joe Mangano. I'm a short-statured male. I stand 5 feet 4 inches in height.
Joe's career as a salesman was faltering until he discovered selling by telephone. He believes that the only reason he's able to meet his quota is that on the phone, clients can't see how short he is.
Once again, you're a short guy, there's another BP just shoved down your throat. His sales doubled or whatever when he started selling by phone. Height matters, it really does. Like I said at the start of this, not just in dating, but in life in general. I am pretty much thankful every day that I'm not a short sell. I'm a sell in other areas, but I'm not a short sell. So I'll never know exactly what it's like to be one, but these guys are going to give you, you know, so many BPs. You know, if you're a short guy, yeah, you already know this stuff. Just watch it for a bit of entertainment. But if you're not short, just please watch this and try to put yourself in their shoes for a little bit and realise, you know, unless you've got that Brad Pitt, Chad-looking face, if you're short, nothing else really matters. Even these short, richer guys are bloody struggling.
Joe thinks that he's a victim of what he calls heightism.
My stature's held me back my whole life, as it does with every short-statured person. Heightism is so pervasive that no one even notices it's there. When you're born, you're tiny, and you grow, and growth is associated with maturity, competence, intelligence. It's associated with physical power. It's associated with sexual power. And the lack of is associated with a lack of all those other qualities.
100% what he said. You know, back then you might have even, like in 2007 and 8 when this documentary came out, you would have said, oh yeah, it's just your bad luck or whatever. That's just you. You can't speak for all short guys. But no, ever since the RP and especially the BPs came out, a lot more channels like mine have come out, we know this stuff is 100% true, and I believe you, brother. I believe you.
In one study, women stated that they found men who were similar in every other regard except height. They found those who were taller to be more attractive, to be more powerful, to be more competent.
I went out to this
There you go. Studies have proved it.
potential client. I drove up to her house. She came out with a remark like, oh, I was asking myself, who is this kid driving up and stopping in front of my house?
Brutal.
You start off with a prospect that way. It's almost impossible for you to sell that prospect if they have such an attitude. And again, can you imagine somebody's competency like that being questioned on the basis of their race or their color or their sex? I mean, it just wouldn't be tolerated.
Are stories like Joe's and Matt's isolated events? Or does a man's lack of height really affect his rewards in the marketplace? Believe it or not, leading economists at the University of Rochester and the world over take this question quite seriously.
One of the best predictors of your income is your height. Not your height today, but your height when you were 1 year old. There are studies showing that people who were short at age 1 or 2 or 3 tend to earn less as adults, even if they turn out to be very tall adults.
How's that? I find facts like that amazing. Like, is it like subconsciously on like a caveman level, do the other kids around them kind of know that this guy's short, so they treat them differently, give them less respect, or is it the people around them, the kindergarten teachers, nannies and that? I find it fascinating how they can correlate these studies, and enough so where you can say that, yeah, for the most part, they're accurate.
My mother is very concerned. She's upset.
Children who are tall, that advantage gives them a leg up, which they seem to carry with them forever. You don't have to go very far to find evidence that tall people are more successful. The average height of a Fortune 500 executive is something like 6 feet, which is roughly 3 inches taller than the male average. Ideally, people are going to be rewarded for the jobs that they do and for the things that they produce, but of course you need to interpret that pretty broadly. Sometimes you produce happiness in another person just via your appearance, and that may be something we want to reward.
I know this since I'm 9 years old, so you're not telling me anything new right now. We're not going to undo millions of years of evolution in 2 or 3 generations.
It's quite striking, the difference in wages between short and tall people. It is, speaking very roughly and averaging over what a lot of different researchers have found, about $1,000 per year per inch. That means if you're 6 inches taller than the guy next door and you're identical in all other ways, you probably earn about $6,000 a year more, which is quite a lot. It's
unbelievable too. But at least they've done the studies, and you don't have to wonder about this stuff anymore. The studies are there, the proof's there. Is it everyone? No, it's not. But in general, on average, yeah, taller people earn more money. Once again, it's a brutal BP.
It's comparable to the sort of differences that we see on the basis of race and of gender and other very big things.
It's bad enough that short men have a tough time in the corporate world, but what about the real world? People like Joe Mangano think that the problem boils down to a fundamental lack of respect.
Tall people have rules for short people. They're not written anywhere. They're unspoken type rules. A typical rule of a taller for a shorter might be, if you're walking in the opposite direction, you'd better get out of my way, because if you don't, you're going to wind up on the ground.
I'm waving now. Ask Robert if he sees me. In order to prove his point, Joe has designed a little experiment. Okay, good.
What we're going to try and show with the sidewalk experiment is that more often than not, the shorter man will have the shorter man will have to move aside for those who are taller rather than vice versa.
A tall man will help us out. He and Joe dress in similar attire. Each of them will carry a tiny hidden camera and take turns trying to walk against sidewalk traffic on Times Square. We'll count the collisions and see who has a harder time, the tall man or the short man. Only one collision. Will it be this easy for Joe?
Every short-statured individual has been bullied. Verbally, physically, and socially.
If something as simple as walking down the street is so much more difficult for the short stature, is it any wonder that some of us compensate by being assertive?
No group would tolerate the things that...
Interesting experiment. The why the taller guys generally don't get bumped into comes from the caveman ooga booga brain, where, you know, once again, you know, taller people are seen as more of a threat, more of a danger. This person could harm me or harm people I know, etc. That's probably why that would happen. Once again, it's just an unfortunate BP, and that's my reasoning for it, that it's more of an ooga booga primal thing, that if there's a taller big guy, you kind of get out the way for them, just like you see in gorillas, in lions, and in any other kind of animals. It's that's a hierarchical thing, and humans are no different. Humans are hierarchical. And yeah, big BP, height matters.
Short-statured people have to put up with.
We're not trying to be Napoleon. We're just trying to survive. It's too bad, though, that short plus assertive doesn't equal attractive.
The men that I've met that have been shorter than me have kind of had, like, something to prove all the time, and it's kind of unattractive.
I feel like they have to be more macho or more manly. They have to overcompensate.
The thing is, they're probably not overcompensating or being more macho and manly. It's just perceived that way. A taller guy can go, you know, with a tall, good-looking guy, it's confident, but a shorter, average or ugly guy, it's overcompensating, and they're aggressive and all that kind of bullshit. No, it's not fair here we judge. It's 100% not fair.
Because they're short.
They tend to buy large things or do things on a grander scale.
They feel as though they're inferior to taller men.
Ever heard of the Napoleon complex?
Yeah.
Are short men overly aggressive? In your
Yes,
opinion?
they are.
Yeah.
They want to prove they're big.
It's ridiculous to paint this broad brush across all short men, that we're all these angry little men that, you know, have this chip on our shoulder. It's not true.
One place where you are pretty sure to find a few very aggressive little Napoleonic runts is at a World Rowing Championship. Sure, the rowers are huge guys, but the cocks, the little man who synchronizes, steers, and controls, is usually half the size.
That's so cuddly. Cocks. I thought they called him a cuck. The cucks are only half the size. I was going to say, it's a little bit overboard.
Like so soft. Makes you feel good when you go out and, you know, you're in control, you're in command of all these guys, and they're just waiting for your next word. Let the legs drive it. Yep. Force the feet to press it. Yep.
Brian is full of special characteristics. He's a small man who can dominate 8 large men, get them to do whatever he wants to, and in the meantime try and dominate all the other little men who are running around trying to dominate their 8 big men on the course.
Hands through. There you go. 37 right there, boys. 7-2. 1. Drive the feet. Again.
It's hard to listen to a man who's smaller than you. Yes. Because he's smaller than you.
Sitting up tall to the bow. Yes. It was pretty evident when I first came onto the team that in order for me to be successful, I was going to have to work to gain their respect. One more stroke. Paddle leg. Again. Knees through. Pull. In life, you don't get respect generally, and especially, you know, being a small guy around a whole bunch of big guys, If you're going to correct them, you have to give them a way to do it correctly, when to do it correctly, and how to do it correctly. You can't just say you're doing it wrong and leave it at that. That's fucking right.
No one likes to be dominated.
Probably get away with it more if you're a big guy, though.
You think you would?
I think you would. Yeah. I think people accept it more from big people. You can have the same dominating personality as a big person or a small person. I think if you're a smaller guy, I think people are less likely to put up with it.
It's complicated. Short guys need to earn respect rather than threaten, and tall guys need to stop being threatened by short men worthy of respect. It kind of makes you wonder how Napoleon himself did it.
Just a fun fact here, Napoleon actually wasn't short. I think he was about 5'10". He was actually quite tall. It was actually the propaganda that was spread around that made him this short little runt-in little newspaper cartoon depictions and things. But yeah, Napoleon wasn't short. He was actually taller than the average for that time period. Fun fact.
Nous sommes en France pour voir si les Parisiens ont une meilleure tolérance pour les hommes de petite taille.
Oui, je peux sortir avec un garçon qui est plus petit que moi.
Quand on est une fille, qu'on est grande, on a plutôt envie d'avoir quelqu'un de plus grand que de quelqu'un de plus petit.
J'ai derrière moi l'Arc de Triomphe, symbole de la gloire napoléonienne. Est-ce que le grand empereur reste toujours dans le subconscient des Français et leur donne une meilleure aperçu des hommes?
Bloody great song, that. Radetzky's March.
De petite taille, nous allons voir.
And if you're Aussie, don't know about America too, if you like playing the pokey machines, if you have a big win, you quite often hear that. The old Radetzky's March. Good song.
Moi, mon travail, c'est de vendre du mazout, du fioul. Tout se fait par téléphone, donc on ne me voit pas. Et le fait de revêtir l'habit de Napoléon, ça prend une grandeur, vous ne pouvez pas savoir. Bonjour.
Il y a un effet habit qui est important, mais pas encore là. Là, je suis cobote pour l'instant.
Skip this bit, it's a bit of bullshit.
S'ils décrochent la timbale, il y a beaucoup de choses qui changeront en France.
Est-ce que les Français aiment une...
Pour vaincre ce problème, mais on ne sait jamais.
Elevator shoes. Here we go. Shoe lifts.
I went for my annual physical. They told me I was 71.5 inches tall. And I said, that's got to be wrong. I'm 6 feet. And they said, no, you must have shrunk. So after the appointment,
That's what happened to me. I have shrunk 2/3 of an inch since I was younger. 43 now. At the time of recording this, I went from 6'1" to 6 foot and a third. I still am over 6 foot, ladies. If you're hearing this, you know I still meet that mark, but due to doing heavy weights, powerlifting and weightlifting, I've got some spinal degeneration. Everyone normally gets it, and yeah, and if I ever get to the stage where I am under 6 foot, I am really not going to fucking like it. Not that anyone would be able to tell any difference by looking at me, but just knowing it would hurt me.
immediately went back and started wearing my elevator shoes so I could get back to my 6 feet again. And I feel much better about it.
Welcome to Richley Shoe Company, the world's largest distributor of elevator shoes.
It's a tall man's world. We can make you taller instantly, inexpensively, and it's a lot of fun.
But I wonder if 2 or 3 of those inches is really meant to be for me.
Well, that's certainly a possibility. We can get you in some shoes today. Robert Kennedy was a customer of ours. Humphrey Bogart wore our shoes. Ferdinand Marcos used to buy shoes from us. The shoes on the outside looked like regular shoes.
Sounds like this guy's doing a roaring trade, which you would. Actually a really good idea. Not just to make one type of special shoe, but like to have all the popular brands and stuff that have like hidden insoles and an extra, you know, centimetre here or there of cushion. You know, as I said, I've said before, I've got these nice Italian leather shoes that basically bring me from like just over 6 foot to 6'3" when I wear them. And like they're heeled, only they've got like an inch and a bit heel on them. But there's some other stuff inside. I haven't made them into height adjusting shoes. It's just how they came. Because they're like heeled dress shoes, and if I wear some nice long pants and some nice slacks or jeans with them, you can't really tell, and I automatically look considerably taller.
We deliver them in a brown paper wrapper, the old brown paper wrapper. We don't put any reference to elevator shoes on the outside of the box. I read of a study where every inch in height translated into about an $800 increase in salary. If you buy a pair of shoes from us for $70 or $80, you're gaining about $1,600 in salary. It's quite a bargain. This is the insert that we use to put inside of the shoe. Just find the proper size, slides right in, drop it down, try the shoe on. They're about 2.5 inches on that style that you have.
Wow, but they feel natural. I'm not looking into your nipples anymore. I'm looking more into your Adam's apple, so that's a big improvement.
Well, for both of us.
So you gonna wrap them up for me?
I'll wrap them up.
Okay, good.
Who makes these shoes? Otis?
No, Rich Lee.
I'll wrap this part up in a little bit. The only problem here with these shoes is that at some point you're going to have to take them off. And if you're like a 5'4" guy that's, you know, making out you're 5'7", and like 5'7" is the ladies' bare minimum, her bottom limit, well, it's going to be over for you. And in this day and age, I wouldn't even be surprised if a lady found out you're lying about your height, if she would even do something as malicious as even like go to the cops and say she's been scammed and conned and SA'd and, you know, assaulted at any kind. I wouldn't put it past them for that stuff. So just be really careful when you bullshit about your appearance. The same as me if I was to get like a hairpiece that would make me look, you know, significantly better. Everyone, or pretty much everyone, 99.9% of people look better with hair. If I was to get a hairpiece, yeah, I'd look better. Lose a bit of weight, get a hairpiece. Might even, you know, bump myself up to a solid 5.5 maybe. Who knows? Depending on the, you know, for a guy in his 40s, probably even a 5 or a 6 even. But sooner or later, that hairpiece is going to come off, and it's going to be not worth it. It'd be okay if all I wanted was to get one night stands out of it. But if you're looking for a relationship, you just can't lie about that shit, just like lying about your work, what car you drive. You can do all that stuff and just get a one night stand, but if you want a relationship, you've just kind of got to bring your best self to the table. Your best looks-maxed self. And you're either going to win or you lose. You're either going to get choosing signals or you're not.
Let's try them on?
I just felt good.
Well, if women are wearing heels, it's only fair.
Yeah.
I think it's important for everyone to have their car clean, but a short person needs all the advantages that they can get.
Sometimes you come on top, sometimes you don't, you know. It's that where
You see on Animal Planet.
I've gotten into situations like.
All right, I'm going to leave this one here. I'm about a bit over a third of the way through it. So I'll leave this one here. I'll do another part. I might do the whole. I might do another 2 parts. Who knows? Who cares? But this one's been going for about 50 minutes. So I hope it's been entertaining and educational. And I hope some of the taller guys that are watching this, like myself, can actually get an idea of what it's like to be a short guy. And like I said before, I will be back with more of this kind of stuff whenever I feel like it, basically, and whenever I've got the chance. So I'm going to leave it there for now. I will catch everybody in the next one.